To left-leaning liberals like myself, Katie Hopkins is something of a villainous figure who appears to model herself on 101 Dalmatians' Cruella de Vil, very much giving the impression that she would personally skin dozens of adorable puppies just so she could have a nice winter coat. But is there something we can learn from the communication skills of Katie Hopkins? My name's Richard, and welcome to the channel where we analyze the comm skills of famous and infamous people from across the world. If you're new to the channel, then please do subscribe. Now, today we're going to be analyzing a debate appearance by Katie Hopkins at the Oxford Union, where she argued against no platforming. Surprise, surprise. And we're going to look at what she did well, what she didn't do so well, and what we can learn from her performance. Okay, let's get started.
And I now look to Katie Hopkins to continue the case for the opposition tonight.
Still warning, if you start dinging anything at me, I will ding you back. I'm almost beginning to wish Naz Shah had bothered turning up, because that, frankly, was poor. I don't know if you've proved anything at all. I think you've probably proved the reason you're not heard is you're just simply not that interesting.
Oh, and she's playing here the whole pantomime villain thing. She's made a joke and now she's gone directly in on an attack. And you can see the gentleman with the rictus grin is wondering where on earth this is going.
I think the only thing probably you proved in your talk, in the duration of your talk, was that you can count to 5.
Here, what's really interesting is that with this attack line on the opposition, she's not only getting laughs from her side, she's getting laughs from the other side, which is the kind of the start of persuading them that perhaps she's right.
I was asked recently to speak at Exeter University, and I agreed. When I got there, inside the building, I was asked to film a form, a legal declaration that I would not cause offence to anybody in the room. I was told if I did not sign this form, I would be physically removed from Exeter University debating chamber by the security. Now, the security looked like a vegan, so I didn't much...
Okay, so she's made a joke, she's attacked the vegans, but she's also telling a story from a similar institution. So she's talking about Exeter University, she's now at Oxford University. And so by telling a story from a similar type of environment, this is a way of engaging and connecting with the audience on their own terms.
If you felt that I have the potential to offend you, anything you stand for, the principles you live by, then please leave the room.
A physical performance point here. She's come away from the dispatch box and gone down the central aisle. And this marks a sort of shift in tempo and tone. She's gone from the knockabout stuff to the more serious point about causing offence and whether you have the right to do so within a debating chamber.
But I would like to thank the union for being true to its founding principles. This union with no political views of its own.
Really interesting point there. She's taking it back to the founding principles of the Oxford Union, and that's always a powerful way of being persuasive. If you can tap into the roots, the original idea of an organization, then you are onto a winner more often than not.
I've been the target of a jihadi plot to behead me. I was a lady wanted my head as a wedding gift from her jihadi husband. This is not a made-up story. Was actually reported in The Guardian, who knew?
This is another good technique of personalizing the issue, bringing it round to a real life matter that she has experienced.
The lady who wanted my head, she was called, I think, I'm not sure.
That's the kind of joke that you might have heard in a 1980s playground. Nowadays, fortunately, that style of humor simply does not work.
You have insulted many people in this room, but you actually haven't told us why this house shouldn't support no platform.
The Union was built for a time just like this, except 200 years ago. It was built at a time when university authorities didn't think it was a good idea for the little people to have ideas of their own.
You can clearly see a change of pace, a change of tone. Katie is beginning to slow things down, use pauses, and this shows that she's reaching the conclusion of her debate.
You know, there was a time when I was just an over-opinionated woman in a white suit with patience issues, and now I'm virtually Mussolini. And I don't mind that. That's not problematic for me. I'm comfortable with who I am. But it does rather beg the question, where does this all end up? What are we so frightened of? You know, for all your curiosities, I trust you guys. I trust you to know what you think, to form your own opinion.
She's now saying a really important phrase, which is, I trust you. And she's emphasized it and she has repeated it. And this is, again, very effective because she is the older person, the more famous person. But she's saying that these people who are late teens, early 20s, she trusts them, she respects them to be able to work things out for themselves. And that is, from Katie Hopkins, a little bit of an attempt at empathy and respect, which you kind of wouldn't expect from her.
Once someone starts to mandate what you can't hear, how narrow, how small is this window going to get? How tiny your space? Your worldview, just how small do you want it to be? You are on the precipice. You are on the cusp of something monumental.
Really interesting here where she's saying that they're on the precipice. So that brings this sense of danger, of urgency, of things really mattering, and there being a risk to no platforming, just as there is a risk to platforming.
In a time of industrial levels of censorship and outrage, this small house needs to roar like a lion, and roar we will. Please vote with us tonight. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, you have to give the devil her due and acknowledge that that was a very effective debate performance by Katie Hopkins. She was provocative. She was funny. She was the pantomime villain that you expect her to be. But she was a lot more than that too. She was genuinely engaging with the audience. She was kind of charming at times. But the most important thing and the most effective thing for me was that she simply asked the audience to trust their own judgment and to think for themselves. And when it comes to the platforming, no platforming debate, simply to say, I trust you to make your own judgment and to form your own opinions, for me, is a clinching argument. So overall, I give her 4.5 out of 5, which I'm sort of shocked by, but you have to be fair. But I'd love to hear what you think. So please do put comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, then do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.